They want to see your belly.
I've been hesitant on this subject for a while, but Blueface is the perfect example of vampirism. Bro executes everything with precision. You can tell completely by his demeanor, he does not react to anything around him. And every little comment, every movement, every gesture he does is to pull reaction out of others.
Clock it.
Blueface's situation where he's consuming the life out of his chick is actually a very common situation. Quite often, energy vampires will find somebody that's low IQ to consume. It's very easy to consume from people that don't know how to regulate their own energy.
You've seen the title of the video. You know what we're going over. We're going to get into some more spiritual intelligence because y'all know how it's getting out there. Y'all know how it's getting outside. Y'all know how it's getting with this planet. We really got to get more educated on spiritual science. All right. This is exactly why I created this video, because there's a lot of energy vampirism going on right now. We just need to get a little spiritual intelligence. Welcome back to another video though.
Destiny swapping is very, very real, and it doesn't just happen to celebrities. It can happen to anybody, even you, if you don't know the signs. Save this video because you may need to come back and compare notes. Because these people show up in your life as friends, as supporters, as fans of you. You could be really talented, really smart, really magnetic. People enjoy being around you. People want to celebrate you. If you're working on your goals, if you're on a spiritual journey, you don't even have to see it on you. They see it on you. These people recognize the light within you very early on, and they try to latch themselves onto it. They have a tendency of latching themselves onto you early. Now, destiny swapping happens when people either exchange their path for yours, or they try to intertwine their fate, their destiny with yours. Because they see your greatness, they see your potential, maybe even before you do. And they do this all while trying to downplay your accomplishments, downplay your goals, downplay your impact. They'll be jealous of your accomplishments and still try to either hijack your goals or attach themselves to you. Their aim is to dim your light, the same light that they're attracted to like a moth to a flame. It's parasitic. They try to force this parasitic connection that's just unnatural. You might find yourself missing opportunities, facing unnecessary challenges, doubting yourself. And the signs of destiny swapping can either be subtle or not so subtle. Some come off as really unusual coincidences, and it's really just repeated patterns. But like I said, it's parasitic, so it's going to feel unnatural. They're going to try to attach themselves to you, and it's not going to feel like a natural connection. Also, just be on the lookout for boundary issues. This can look like love bombing you or even mimicking you. I'm not going to be the spiritual friend.
Quitting the role of the spiritual friend
Is giving client.
because it's giving client.
But that's not all that I am.
At the same time, that's not all that I am.
But you're kind of going to have to trust your intuition and like how it feels. Now, mind you, this is energetic. It doesn't have to be material at all. This is felt. They recognize this light in you and they really just want to hijack it or take it or attach themselves to it. For example, this man will recognize the light in a budding artist and try to hijack their fate. And it never feels natural. It never looks natural. But he'll try to hijack their entire persona. So you'll find that they copy you or they emulate you. And when confronted with this, they'll tell you that it's a coincidence. But like I said, it's really unusual coincidences. They do this all while trying to downplay your talents, downplay your impact, downplay everything that makes you you, everything that they're trying to steal. All your energy that they're trying to harvest. And this can be a friend, a peer, a coworker. I can make an entire video on the guy because I've been itching to talk about energy vampires. But let me know if this has happened to you. If you attract jealous people, jealous friends, that they really just want to be near you, but they don't seem to really like you.
Yep, they start to talk like you. They low-key doing the same things that you're doing, and then they want to involve themselves in what you're doing. And you notice, you can tell when there's an energy vampire that is in the industry or just in the spiritual community. Like, you can tell when they're jumping around to different people who have internet high. They're always somewhere in the cut with them, and it's just like you was just hanging out with this person, and it you can see it. You can see it. They're embodying the same person that they were just with. It. This is another example of energy vampirism within the industry.
No one profited off of Biggie's death more than Diddy did. And Miss Wallace in her book expresses why she never trusted Diddy in the first place. And before I get into this deep dive, this is all alleged. It was rumored and speculated that Biggie was halfway out the door with Bad Boy Records prior to his death because he was unhappy with the contract that he signed with Diddy. In her book, Miss Wallace writes, Christopher accepted the illusion of a friend and mentor for about $25,000. That's the amount Puffy lured my son with. That was a lot of money for Christopher back then as a 19-year-old. He had never seen that much money at one time in his life. It was enough money to make my son believe that Puffy was ready to do anything for him. It was enough to buy blind love and loyalty. Despite how Diddy paints their relationship out to be, prior to Biggie's passing, Biggie and Diddy's friendship was on the rocks because Biggie was becoming more and more aware of how Diddy was playing him with his contract. Biggie had a $60 million contract in the works elsewhere, and Diddy was not happy with that. Also, prior to Biggie's passing, Diddy had just purchased Biggie's publishing rights for $200,000. Not only that, Diddy's ex-bodyguard, Gene Deal, had pulled Diddy to the side and said, "We cannot go to this party tonight."
Puff, no. He ain't never heard me ever tell him not to go nowhere. I said, Puff, I got some intel. The guys are coming to kill us tonight at the museum party. He said, Gene, I don't want to hear that shit. He said, you ain't got to go if you don't want to go.
He said that Diddy was acting really weird that night and just blew him off. In Miss Wallace's book, she wrote, I'm glad my son does not have to witness that the very people that he thought he could ride and die with wouldn't think twice about using his mother. I believe she's referring to Biggie's publishing rights because for a long time, Diddy wouldn't give them to her. And when he finally did, apparently they were worth nothing. She then goes on to say, I'm glad that he's not here to see how they've used his image and his name. I believe Sean loved my son after he was dead. I used to tell Christopher all the time not to trust Sean. Bad Boy Records ended the year with $300 million in sales, which is a lot for 1997 due to all of the publicity and success that came with Biggie's Life After Death album. Not only that, Miss Wallace said, I have a very good idea who unalived Christopher, and I genuinely believe that the LAPD knows exactly who did it too. She said they've done their investigation, but they just refuse to move forward. I don't know why they haven't arrested who was involved. Who are they protecting?
This doesn't just happen to celebrities. This happens to everybody on a minimum level. When you come in contact with a vampire, you need to know. If anybody knows that is a popular singer, her name is Selena. I'm going to just give you a little backstory video. So it's going to be AI generated, but this is the best example I could find.
I was shot dead unexpectedly by my best friend after I discovered she was stealing money from me. My name is Selena Quintanilla. I had my life taken away by Yolanda Saldivar, my manager for my boutiques and fan club. It all started in January 1995, when my father began receiving calls from fans who had purchased memberships for my fan club and received nothing, wondering where the money was going. He began an investigation. That's when he discovered my manager had stolen more than $30,000 by forging checks from both the fan club and the boutiques. That's when my father banned her from having contact with me, but I knew I couldn't lose contact with her because she still had bank and financial records that I needed for tax season. I tried to get the records from her, but she delayed handing them over by claiming she had been physically and sexually assaulted in Mexico. Being concerned, I took her to a medical clinic to get her checked out and examined, but it only prolonged things further as the doctor only gave her a brief examination and said she would need to be checked at a San Antonio clinic since she is a San Antonio resident. That same day, I met up with her in her motel room at Days Inn, at the motel. I demanded she hand me the financial papers, and that's when Yolanda grabbed a gun from her purse and pointed it at me. Being scared for my life, I tried my hardest to run away. I was shot once on my shoulder. Out of adrenaline, I kept running towards the lobby, leaving a trail of blood. I collapsed on the floor as the clerk called emergency services. Yolanda attempted to flee the scene by leaving in her pickup truck. She finally surrendered after an almost 10-hour standoff with the police. Meanwhile, I was rushed to the hospital as doctors tried their absolute hardest to revive me. After an hour of surgery, I was pronounced dead from blood loss and cardiac arrest from the gunshot wound.
You see how bad energy vampirism can get? Now watch what Yolanda says when they ask her, why did you do it?
Understand the loss of her to her fans.
It's tremendous. And not only to them, but to me.
But they want to know why you killed her.
I won't discuss that.
This is when she became a super fan of Selena. After the concert, she started calling Selena's father Abraham non-stop. And what was she calling for? She wanted to make a fan club for Selena. Abraham, Selena's father, eventually gave her permission to start the fan club. In his own words, he said that she seemed genuine and that she seemed very excited to work for Selena. Yolanda actually quit her nursing job and became a full-time employee of Selena. It was around the time that Amor Prohibido reached #1 in the Latin Billboard charts. Can you imagine the envy this woman must have had for Selena? Yolanda in interviews would say that Selena was her idol. After a couple of years of working with Selena, Yolanda was not only managing the fan club, she was also helping Selena open her 2 clothing boutiques. This meant she had a lot of access to Selena. In an interview, Abraham said that he started noticing that Yolanda was becoming obsessed with Selena. For example, if Selena was at a concert, Yolanda would physically act as a barrier between Selena and her fans. Abraham told her, "This is not your job. We have bodyguards for that." She wanted Selena all to herself. Eventually, some of the employees from the boutique started complaining about Yolanda. The employees started to complain that she had mismanaged funds from the fan club. In other words, she was embezzling money from the fan club. How could she claim that Selena was her idol, that she loved her, and she wanted to help her, while you're stealing money from her? But you guys, it doesn't stop there. The employees also said that she was destroying designs. Same designs that were being made for the boutique, Yolanda was destroying those designs. And she was even threatening the employees. And the cherry on top, she was recording the employees. This is when Abraham started investigating all of the claims that the employees were making. And indeed, he found that she had embezzled $30,000. Then he started getting complaints from the members of the fan club saying that they had paid their dues but had not received any merchandise. You know what's so terrifying? That Yolanda was acting like a saint in front of Selena. To these employees, she was being terrible. She was abusing them. Unfortunately, Selena never believed that Yolanda would be capable of such a thing. March 9th of 1995, Selena and her father Abraham decided to confront Yolanda about the embezzlement. Abraham said that during the confrontation, Selena was very emotional because she couldn't believe that Yolanda would be capable of such a thing. But Yolanda, on the other hand, was defensive and said she just didn't know about any of it. So she basically denied everything. During the confrontation, Abraham told Yolanda that they would get the police involved if she did not return the funds. You guys, 2 days after that, she purchases a gun. She told the gun store that she had been having problems with the family of an elderly person that she had been taking care of because she was a nurse, and that she was buying the gun for protection. But like I said before, Selena refused to believe that she would be capable of any of this. Selena did not cut Yolanda off, and this made Yolanda really happy. In fact, Selena asked Yolanda to help her open up another boutique store in Monterrey, Mexico. Guess what Yolanda did? She returned the gun. Yolanda was so happy that she hadn't been cut off, she went and returned the gun.
I just wanted to give you a little bit of the backstories and the signs that you can see within an energy vampire. Sometimes it can be fatal, and they be really in their own delusions.
Of the victim vampire. This is the type of energetic vampire that uses their victimhood to lure in prey. This is the type of energetic vampire who uses their pain and their trauma, be it fictional or factual, to draw people in order to drain them dry. The victim vampire is subtle as fuck and oftentimes one of the hardest types of energetic vampires to snuff out. The victim vampire often preys on people's codependency issues. The victim vampire often preys on people's abandonment issues. The victim vampire is good at making it seem like they are being drained dry, when in fact, they are the ones draining everyone around them dry. The victim vampire never takes accountability, never takes responsibility, and there is never any evidence of growth in their life when you take a step back and look at the big picture. At some point in all of our lives, most of us get caught up with that type of energetic vampire.
We're going to stop it right there. I want to say thank y'all for watching. I am going to do a part 2 to these type of situations, as well as giving more advice and ways you can protect yourself from an energy vampire. I just wanted to open your eyes up to what you're seeing, not physically, but energetically, and also what you're feeling. Y'all have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for part 2.